The Merseyside derby. It was live and exclusive to talkSPORT. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp exclusively spoke to talkSPORT's Sam Matterface following his side's 2-0 win. He was asked how critical it was to finally get a league win in 2023.
I don't think my English is good enough to find the right words for that. It was very important, and in the end, just in time, if you want. So we needed a really good performance, and we showed a really good performance. In a obviously a tough game, in a tough situation. So we face an opponent who played an exceptional game against Arsenal. So we had to prove a point, and we did that. The boys did that. It was a really good performance, and we played exactly the game we wanted to play, and not for 1 second, apart from the set pieces, the game Everton wanted to play. And so that gave us the edge to be on the winning side.
Listen, it was a much-needed win for Liverpool. I think they looked more like the old Liverpool than I've seen for a long, long time. I wouldn't say this season, but certainly for a long, long time. I thought there were huge positives. The young kid, Bajcetic, I think it's called.
Played really well, didn't he?
Really, really well. Darwin Nunez was good. Gakpo looked good as well.
Salah back on the score sheet. And when Pickford.
Yeah. Should we talk about Pickford now? I'll tell you what, let's talk about Liverpool first, right? Listen, it was a much-needed win for them. That win takes them to 9th in the Premier League. There's a big gap still between them and Newcastle. What is it, 9 points? If they beat them, obviously that comes down to 6. They've got games in hand. I get all of that. But there was a big love-in for Liverpool last night on the TV, which did surprise me, because there's still a long way to go, and that is a good performance, nonetheless, against a team that's really, really struggling with a new manager at the moment. So, even though yesterday I hold my hands up and say I expected Everton to get something out of it, it might have been on the back of that first Everton performance under Sean Dyche playing your mob. But listen, good win. You can only beat what's in front of you. Much needed win as well. At home, lot of pressure. And of course, top 4 is still on. But I wouldn't get too excited yet if I was Liverpool. I think it's all down to how maybe the next 2 or 3 games go before we can really work out where this side is.
Do you know what? I thought Liverpool played really well yesterday. When I look at the Everton performance as well, last night, I almost feel like they played really well against Arsenal. But if Arsenal had got that initial goal, would it have been pretty much a similar game?
So Everton were amazing in the first half.
They played with their chances, but they didn't take them. And that's been Everton's problem. They can't take the chances. But that's why I wonder if maybe if Arsenal scored first, would the game completely have changed? But I thought they played well. But Liverpool looked like they were back to their... Not back to their best, but looked like they were...
too early to get excited, right?
Front foot, high energy, Salah scoring goals again. Obviously, Firmino coming and making an impact. Obviously, you saw Virgil on the sideline there, so he's going to come back very, very soon.
What do you make of Jordan Henderson?
I thought he played well yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought he played really well yesterday. So, yeah, you can't get carried away, but all you can do as Liverpool is just trying to win games now. I know you said they're 9 points off of the top 4. That's still doable, that. Because
they play Newcastle, right?
They play Newcastle. Newcastle at the minute are not...
They're not scoring goals.
Not scoring goals, drawing too many games.
Yeah.
Spurs, you don't know what you're going to get from them. Brighton and Fulham, who have been phenomenal this season, and Brentford. Sorry, I didn't want to leave out Brentford. I expect them to have a dip at some stage. So it's about Liverpool can capitalise.
You're not putting Chelsea in this?
Chelsea got to start winning games first and foremost before they're anything. Liverpool have got that result.
Yeah.
But it was good for Salah to keep scoring goals because they need him. I think if Liverpool are going to get into that top 4, they need him firing. But when you look at some of the decisions from Everton, like the goal for Salah, I don't know where Pickford's going at all.
Talk me through that. Why has he come out so far so quickly?
I don't know, but he's miles away from it as well. Like not even going to get it unless he's anticipating Salah not getting there and him just taking it in his arms. But it just looked horrific.
It was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what? There were times last night.
He'll know that, by the way. If he's listening to this, he's not going to get annoyed. He'll get annoyed at himself.
Yeah,
and he'll know it was an awful mistake. And he's better than that as well.
What I will say, do you know him?
No, I don't know.
What? Do you know that does he phone the show?
No, but I like Jordan Pickford. I think he's a good goalkeeper, but that was an awful mistake.
Last night, it almost looked like he reverted to Pickford of old. And when I say Pickford of old, he was getting caught up in stuff he didn't need to get caught up in. He was all over emotional. Like even that bit at the end where Robertson just kicks the ball and he runs into him. Don't get involved in all that. Just
there was flapping, wasn't there?
Just flat. He looked like usually, and so for the last couple of seasons, you'd say that he looks like he's not that emotional anymore. He's kind of calmed it down. But last night, I thought he reverted back to Pickford.
Isn't it weird though? When he's got an England jersey on, he's fantastic.
He's brilliant.
Why is that? Have you seen that before in players? They just raise their game subconsciously for England.
Yeah, you do get players. I remember again, Danny Welbeck was scoring loads of goals for England, but wasn't scoring for his club side.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
But for Pickford, I think he's under real pressure though as England number 1. When you look at the form of Ramsdale, Pope, when Pope's not conceding goals, I think he's under real pressure. I really do.
13 goals Newcastle conceded.
It's mad.
That is,
and I know it's a team effort, but so look at some of the saves that Pope's making as well. Like I think Pickford's number 1 is under. The only thing he's got over certainly Pope, not Ramsdale, Pope is the distribution with the feet. because Ramsdale's distribution is just as good.
Does Everton's league position come into it? It's going to, right?
I think it has to at some stage.
From a confidence perspective.
Yeah. Well, if he's leaking goals and making mistakes like he did last night, then I think he's going to have to.